Education is always considered as a first weapon and foundation to a success. Good day everyone, my name is Elsa de la Cruz and I am the representative of my group to discuss to you today our conducted research. This video presentation will highlight brief introduction of the research proponents, title of the research, background of the study, research questions, research methodology, plan for data analysis, results, and we will include our summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Before I proceed, I would like to introduce the other researchers who are also responsible for this study. Zofia Francisco, Claire Sugitan, Juliet Dumlao, Kathleen Barrientos, and Karen Natividad. Now let's proceed to our research title, which is Perceived Responses on the Effectiveness of the Face-to-Face and Modular Distance Learning. For the background of the study is to seek for the effectiveness of the face-to-face and modular distance learning. Receive perceived responses on the students with regards to face-to-face and modular distance learning. Struggles of students on the same situation. To know the comfortability of students in the same educational platform. Reaction on which is more effective between face-to-face and modular distance learning, and reaction of students regarding their enrollment the following year. Let me proceed to our research question. This study aims to seek for the effectiveness of face-to-face and modular distance learning. Specifically, this research seeks to answer the following questions. Number 1. What learning modality is more effective for the students of Bagao National High School? Number 2. Our students of Bagao National High School are comfortable learning at home due to the COVID-19 pandemic? And number 3. Our students of Bagao National High School will enroll for the next year even if the situation is usual as now. Let's look forward for the research methodology. For the research design, this research will use qualitative study using phenomenological research design to collect the data needed. The study focuses on perceived responses on the effectiveness of face-to-face and modular distance learning among Bagao National High School students school year 2020 to 2021. For the sampling procedure, the respondents of the study are Bagao National High School students. Purposive sampling technique was used to determine the number of respondents out of the total population of grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12 students will be taken as respondents and will use interview to gather the needed data. Research instrument. The instrument used in gathering data and information for this study was survey questionnaire to determine the profile of the respondents and interview to get their qualitative responses formulated in the basis of phone, text, messenger interview. The questionnaire and interview guide used were personally made by the researchers and was checked by the research advisor to ensure the validity of the documents. And for the data gathering method, as the gathering of data from the respondents, the researchers will ask the permission from the principal through a letter of approval noted by the research advisor. They will use survey questionnaire for the profile of the respondents and interview guide through messenger, text, and call to gather the needed data. And finally, for the data analysis, all the data obtained from the respondents were analyzed and be presented on the table to identify the profile of respondents in terms of age, sex, grade level. Data are to be analyzed using frequency and percentage distribution to identify the comparison on the effectiveness of face-to-face and modular distance learning modality to Bagao National High School students for the school year 2020 to 2021. Now let's look forward for the research results. We interviewed 10 respondents from different grade level. For the comfortability of students, it shows in the pie graph that majority of respondents are uncomfortable learning at home with a frequency of 8 or 80% of percentage. There are 2 or 20% of respondents who are comfortable learning at home. This implies that majority of respondents are not comfortable learning at home. For the effectiveness of face-to-face and modular distance learning to respondents, it clearly shows that 100% of our respondents choose face-to-face learning platform than the modular distance learning. This means that most respondents are learning more in face-to-face than in modular distance learning. And for the enrollment data, it shows in the pie graph that majority of respondents decided to enroll next school year even if the situation is usual as now with a frequency of 9 and percentage of 90%. And there is only 1 or 10% respondent that decides not to enroll next year. This implies that the majority of the respondents will enroll for the next school year. And finally, for the last part of our discussion for our summary, conclusion, and recommendation. For the summary, the effectiveness of face-to-face and modular distance learning as it is observed by the researchers, as we surveyed many students are not comfortable studying at home. The effectiveness of two platforms of learning is almost the same, but according to our research, there were one big difference on the effectiveness of the two platforms, which is the level of understanding. Students are not the same level of understanding, where there are students are slow in understanding, and that is the point of our respondents. In this case, face-to-face learning is the most effective learning platform. Hence, still for now as today's situation, we have to continue our education with the modular distance learning to fulfill our dream and to achieve our own goals. For the conclusion, number 1, most of the students are not comfortable learning at home due to inability to understand much the activities in the modules. But some of them are enjoying. They can build their confidence, individuality, and ability to learn by their own. Number 2, according to the participants, the effectiveness of face-to-face is more chance for the students to understand their lessons well, and believe that some students are slow learners, therefore, they need more explanation for them to understand. Number 3, there were some similarities on the effectiveness of face-to-face and modular distance learning. Respondents said that both modular distance learning and face-to-face learning are both learning that require a great amount of work. Both have a lot of activities and performance that students may work for it. And finally, for our research recommendation, first, the researchers recommend that students must understand the situation and follow our new normal educational platforms. Number 2, the researchers recommend that teachers give more support and guidelines for their students to help them as well. Number 3, the researchers recommend that students don't hesitate to ask for the explanation and more information to their teachers, especially students have slow of understanding. Number 4, students must practice their self for individuality and more confident to do all the tasks and activities given. And for number 5, internet is our partner. Confidence starts by ourselves. Everyone must be confident and learn how to be friendly with internet just for the purpose of education, no other than. Number 6, they should discipline themselves not only in the answering their modules but also in their lives. Number 7, they should not always stress themselves, especially when they feel some difficulties in their modules. And last, they should enjoy the new normal life that we have this time. We should not lose hope. And that's the ending for our discussion. Thank you so much and God bless.